to the program Agric today on Arcn Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Still in a series of departmental interview on Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Arcn. And this week we have in the studio with us, of course, not in the studio, we are in his office actually, and we are having on the program the head of Department Planning Research and Statistics in the person of Dr. Shuaib Aliyu Madugu. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I want to take you, well, it's not going to be a long interview, so to say, just say maybe 30 minutes of your time. We want you to take us through what the Planning and Research Statistics Department is about.
Just like you have mentioned, the department is Planning, Research and Statistics. Taking you through the basis, maybe if it is good if I take you back the memory lane of the council itself. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria was actually established by law or by the decree of the federal government of Nigeria, 1999. But the takeoff of the council was in 2006. 2006 November with the appointment of the then executive secretary, and in 1st January 2007 was the actual takeoff fully of the council, and as at the takeoff, the departments were created. 4 departments were actually created for the council, and that includes the Admin and Finance Department, the Livestock and Fisheries Department, the Extension and Agric Policy Department, Plant Resources Department. These are the 4 departments that were actually functional, though there is one directorate office, which we call Donor and Board Secretariat then. So we had 5 directors at the beginning of the council. Now, after a while, and the implementation of the Council's Act, we realized that there are windows and there are challenges. Council came on being to address basically certain issues within the research system. And what are these issues? Issue number 1 is being that there were gaps between research and production. And so the federal government came up with, okay, let's create council and remove that department in the ministry, which was then called Agric Sciences Department, so that the council will now handle the affairs of that, and then possibly we can see how we can bridge that gap between research and production. Now, at the implementation of council's programs, and we realized that there is still gap in the communication system between the research institutes and the colleges. So we came up with a strategy. And during the development of the strategy plan for the council, it was then suggested that we should move from departmental system to program system. And after going to program system, we came up with some programs like the CTR then. CTR is Coordination of Technical Research Program, which is like the centerpiece, like the nucleus for the council then, because it coordinates all the activities that had to do with both plant, livestock, and other things. Then we have an extension and socio-economic program. We had a capacity building and standardization program that had to do with capacity building of both researchers in the research institutes and also our own staff here within the council. Now, these are the basic programs we had, and then the admin and finance department remain as a department and then the only department then, but others were now programmed. After implementation for a period of years, we also still realize that there is a disconnect in terms of the linkage between the council and the research institutes, because our research institutes are now commodity-based research institutions. So we realized that the program system was still not working very well. So we had to revert back to departmental system. Now, coming back to departmental system, this time around, additional departments were created. And that was why livestock was splitted from fisheries. And then we had livestock department as a department, fisheries as a department, plant resources as a department, agricultural extension and socio-economic program as a department. And then we have our finance and account also remaining as a department. Now, with the coming of Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu as Executive Secretary, he also looked at it and then see what are the possibilities of how we can overhaul the council and come up with better system so that the coordination between us and the research institution will also work better. And that led to the creation of 2 additional departments. The Finance and Account Department was now splitted to have Finance and Admin and Finance Department was now splitted to have Finance and Account Department as a separate department, and then administration as a separate department. Then that was when also planning, research, and statistics department was created. Now we had planning, research, and statistics as an additional department to the existing ones that we have in the council. Now, coming up of planning, research, and statistics department, somebody will ask why? What is the need for it? Actually, there is, because when we now look at it, basically our technical department deals with only technical issues that had to do basically either with research in line with the commodity of the institutes or so. Now, this department had come to have certain mandate. And what are those mandates? Now, the first mandate for the department is to coordinate and review policies, priorities, and strategies of agricultural research, training, and extension of for the council and for the research institutions and also the colleges. Now, when you look at it, policies, strategies, like I said, and priorities, when there are government policies, it is the mandate of the department to see to the implementation of such policies. And again, as part of the roles the department is playing, is also trying to review to see the impact of this policy after a prolonged implementation of the policy. We review to see what is the impact of the policy on the aspect of which we are expected to address and why the policy came in the first instance. Is it making any impact? Is it going in line with the direction of what the government wants so that the achievement of the major goal will be there? If there is none, then we come up with technical write-up, also presenting certain issues and say this needs to be reviewed, that needs to be reviewed. This is also part of the activities of the department. And the department also coordinates monitoring and evaluation of projects and programs for the council and the research institutions and colleges. Now, in conjunction with the technical departments that are in charge with particular issue, if we are coordinating, may say, a project that had to do with livestock, now, in terms of monitoring and evaluation, we collaborate in conjunction with the Department of Livestock. We come together to do what is expected of us in terms of the monitoring and the evaluation of such projects. So similarly, with other departments in their co-related areas, these are some of the activities the department actually is handling. We have a very bogus mandate, but however, it is easy to put together all the mandates because of the similarities of certain issues that are concerned with the mandates as they are. Now, you are talking about maybe policies for our own here and good and fine. Policies, basically what is policy? Policy, we have policies already in government creating policies. Now, there is central policy. What do you mean by central policy? When a new administration comes on board, for instance, and then a new minister is being appointed, and he comes, he looks at the policies. If it is in agricultural sector, he looks at what is the existing agricultural policy. Are there gaps in that, or is it okay? And is it in line with in tangent with what the government, actually the new government wants to achieve? If he has good and fine, is a policy, then they have to implement till the end of the period to which the policy is marked, because every policy have a duration for it to expire. Now, what we do is, when there is central policy, like when this government came on board, they met, they created the agricultural promotion policy. In 2015, when the government came, the APP, agricultural promotion policy. Now that policy had expired, and the new policy that is called NATI, the National Agricultural Innovation and Transformation Policy, is now the one in existence. Now, at the expiration of policy, we look at government goal. What have we achieved in the previous policies? Where did we lack? What were the challenges? Why couldn't we achieve this? That is planned, and then the policy. Then a new policy, that's what they call policy review. A new policy comes on board. If you are bringing in a new policy, you look at, okay, these are the achievements of the previous policies, you want to build on it. How do you build on these achievements? Where are the gaps? Okay, how do you address these gaps that were left in the other policy? And when you have all of these things put together, then you now look at it, okay, what is the targeted goal? Then every other thing you will design along the policy should be targeting at the main goal, so that at the end of the day it will happen. Now, there are subsectoral policies. Now, when you have the major agric policy like NATIP that we have, agricultural research, agric research is a subsector of the agriculture as a whole. Now, do we have a research policy? Okay, now, if we have to create our own agricultural research policy, that will be in line with the major policy, so that every other thing will go in line with the major goal. Now, when creating research policy, we look at what are the objectives of the main, and what are the activities outlined for the main policy. Now, we are now bringing in agricultural research policy. We have to bring up together. It's not that we sit in the department to create policy, no. It is not that way. Now, we have to bring together all the stakeholders involved in agricultural research. and even those stakeholders involved in the production, because they are the final users of the research results. Now, it includes both governmental organizations and non-governmental organizations, including NGOs and private sectors within the agricultural section. These are people we marked as we do the mapping and bring out our own stakeholders. Now, what we can do with policy is when we look at the whole objective, we come up with zero draft of the policy. Now, this zero draft is subjected to the whole stakeholders' criticism and inputs. Now, stakeholders will come together, look at what you have presented before them, you tell them these are the goals, these are then they make their comments. Some will bring up, objectively, they will bring up issues to say this will not work, for it has been practiced in this and that before, and this is how it has gone. Now, but this will work, and these are also other things we are thinking in line, that if you bring up this together, is going to give us to the achievement of this. And this is how you keep having different stakeholders meeting before you now do validation meeting, and finally the final validation of a particular policy before it now being produced out as a policy, take it for the normal process of approval, and it becomes a government document.
Okay, looking at the multilateral collaborations, if you ask me, I'll be like, what's bringing multilateral collaborations and into the whole agricultural? Somebody sitting down will just believe, okay, I think this is just meant for inter-countries and it's just going to be discussed at the level of the presidents and the rest of it. How does this relate to agriculture?
You see, when you talk about bilateral or multilateral collaborations, this comes about based on interests. Okay. Now, you could have more than three group or and above of individuals interested in a particular area of agriculture, and then now all of these people that are interested may come across, may contact you. We want to do this. Similarly, another people will contact you, and you are already contacting someone all on that same line. What you need to do is to bring all the stakeholders together and say, okay, this is an area we need to collaborate and work alongside to get what we want to get. Now, in line with this that you had given, the question is, you bring all the stakeholders together, you sit and meet, and then everybody will now pick his own area of interest and say, okay, in this collaboration, I have interest in either financing this one will say, I have interest in partaking in this, different areas, and people will now outline what they intend to do in the collaboration and what their role will be in the collaboration. And that ends up with coming up with particularly maybe MOU, that is Memorandum of Understanding amongst the stakeholders. And once that is agreed upon by each and every stakeholders, it go back and forth, yes, we review, they review, and then when everybody is okay with all the contents in the MOU, then good and fine, that may go into signing. And when you sign that, then you implement the activities that you have agreed to collaborate with. The department is in charge of quarterly and annual report, not just for the council, but including the research institution or for the research sector as a whole. Our department is in charge of putting up the reports together. But we don't sit in our department here to write a report for maybe an institution in Lagos or an institution in Ibadan. But what we do is we developed a particular template and say, okay, in this report, these are the contents of the report, how it should go. So we develop template and we share among all these institutions and colleges and say, populate that template and send it back to us. Now, they will populate it, be in line with what they are doing and what they had done so far. Now, when that comes back, it is at our departmental level that we will harmonize and come up with all the achievements, the successes they have recorded within the period to which that report is actually being handled, the challenges they have faced within the period, and what are the way forwards. Then we put them together and have this presented as a report. It could be quarter report, it could be an annual report. Then that is also now put together and is forwarded to the Honorable Minister.
Okay, I'm looking at the method of putting this report together.
Yeah.
Is there any way of having checks and balances?
Yes.
So that, of course, I would want to score myself high.
Yeah.
On any reports that have been given here. So
yes.
How do you, check if those reports are, factual? Okay,
good and fine. You see, we put they send templates back, populated template, and we put up this report and we forward, and we conduct what is called monitoring exercise, and we also conduct evaluation. And beside us, we have the National Assembly who also conduct oversight functions. Then we have also the Ministry of Agric that still also go to do particular monitoring. Then, and the financial aspect, we have the Accountant General's office that goes to all of these our research institutes to also look at, to audit their account books. The The Auditor General is also there. But now let's come back to the technical side of it. If you have reported that you have conducted this research and these are your achievements, these are your successes, during our monitoring and evaluation, we don't just go empty-handed. We go with your reporting. You presented this report. Then we physically verified your success to see, okay, you said you were able to develop this. Can we see what variety of crop, either what this or what that you have developed? Then at the end of the day, we look at that and we compare notes with what you have presented before us. And we use that also to ask, to say, okay, we want to see on site what you said, that you said this, you said that. We want to see on site these achievements, and we see them. Then you said you have these challenges. We go also around, let's see a sample of those challenges that you have, if they are physical. Then if they are not physical, that is easily verified. We know what likely may be the challenge and things like that. So these are the ones that give us checks and balances. Then when it comes to resource utilization, now, even here from the council, like I said, we also liaise with the other departments. And during these monitoring activities, our own accounts and finance department also join in the team that goes for monitoring. Then they check the account books to see commensurately the expenditures, are they commensurable to the successes that are achieved? Then if not, why such huge investment and just very little this? All of those things are put in questions, and then when we come back with our report, we do analysis and we see that, okay, yes, what they have presented before us was right, or no, this wasn't okay, well, as we expect.
Speaking to the HOD of the Planning, Research and Statistics Department of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Arcn, President of Dr. Shoaib and yes, he's been speaking to us. I know that so many people would be surprised that this kind of department exists within the agricultural landscape. And of course, I will tell you that the Arcn is leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that everything as regards agriculture is being achieved and achieved properly. So moving forward, we want you to tell us what are the divisions in the department? How many divisions do we have around the Dept?
Okay, we have 3 divisions in the department.
Okay.
And the first division is the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation division. We also have the Research and Statistics division. Then we have Collaboration and Partnership division. These are the 3 divisions that exist in the department. Now, these divisions come together to actually perform the function, the overall general functions of the department. And just like we have mentioned earlier, some of the functions of this department. Now, when you come to Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation division, it has told you a little from the name. Now, planning, when it comes to planning, they liaise with the budget unit of the council to actually plan our annual budget. And annual budget once there is circular passed for call for submission for budget unit will send such circular to the department, and we send it down to the division. That's Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation division. That okay, there's a call for budget, and quickly the division will send the circular to all the departments in the council and units to say, okay, there's a call for budget. So what do you have for your annual budget coming the year so and so? Those now will make submission to the department, and department will now liaise with the budget unit. The budget unit is directly under the S office, so liaise with the budget unit and call for defense of such submission. And the executive secretary usually chair such a meeting. So he chaired the defense, and then every department, every head of department will come and make presentation in line with what they have submitted. And then at the end of the day, it's at that meeting that projects and programs are selected from departments as they are put together for this. If they are ongoing, good and fine. You only tell us why you want it to continue. And now, if they are new, you defend why it should be included in our budget. And then when it is agreed all in that meeting and approved, then the department will collate that together, put it together, the approved budget, and forward to the budget unit. The budget unit will now do all the necessary summary and populate the budget template, because they normally have that from budget office. So they populate the budget design and then they submit. These are some of the activities that is implemented under the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Division. Now, the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Division also are the one that comes out with timetable, the itinerary for the year, for the annual monitoring for all our research institutions and colleges. And when these monitoring reports come, they are the one that will sit and do the proper analysis of seeing whether we are in line with what we intend to achieve or not. And where there are issues, they raise such observations and they present it to the head of the department, where he now communicates such to the executive secretary. And if such approval are given, we communicate the research institutes involved that this is where we found you lacking and this is where we find your strength. So you do this to improve on this, or you do that to improve on that. That is all coming from the Planning and Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation unit. Now, for the Research and Statistics Division, they actually coordinate basically the research policies. When we want to develop a new research policy, they had to do that. They had to handle that. And they statistically collect the information and data from the other division to do their normal statistical analysis to see, okay, we had a lot of achievements in this area. What are the reasons for such achievements? And then we had a lot of, either we have had some failures or maybe we were unable to achieve here. What are the reasons? They do those analysis at that division and come up with a technical report also, basically on those areas to say, okay, these are where we are lacking, these are where we need to improve, these are where we need to. So such things are now communicated to the relevant department, whether within the council or in the research institutions or college. Now, the collaboration and partnership division, basically they are the one that actually handles the issues of both multilateral and bilateral collaboration. Now, when we have issues of collaboration, whether people sending us letters requesting they want to partner with the council, now they may specify certain activities that, okay, these are the areas we want to collaborate with you in the council. When it gets to years of it, because most letters will have to come to the chief executive. Now, if such letters or memos come, he mails them back to the department, and then at the departmental level, we forward them to those divisions. The division will do the analysis to see of what benefit will such collaboration bring, either to the council or beyond the council, even to the users of whatsoever it is we are producing. Now, by the time they look at that, they justify that there is a reason that there's, okay, this council is worthwhile. But if it is something that we felt is, then we may likely invite such organizations to come again for a physical meeting so that we can collaborate and then expatiate and understand basically why they want to collaborate. Now, there is also a committee in the council that exists. Such committee are called Partnership and Linkages Committee. It is being chaired by Professor Zaki. Yes, Professor Zaki, the Director of Extension Services, chairs that committee. That committee exists. So what we do at departmental level is that once we have this, we forward, once the division comes out with justification or anything, if there is need to meet with the organization, then we mean it to that committee. So, okay, committee, there's a reason for meeting with a partner who intend to collaborate with us. Now, why we want to utilize the committee is because the committee have pulled together all resources. What do I mean by all resources? Meaning, in the committee, you find somebody who is livestock specialist. In the committee, you find somebody who is crop specialist. In the committee, you find somebody who is extension specialist. And then you find somebody who is an accountant. You also find, so they have come, is pool of technical brains in the committee. Unlike the division that may only have people who are good in terms of bringing in people together to sit and then brainstorm on collaboration. Now, when it's going deeper into the technical aspect of it, that committee now will look more details into that and come up with reporting back to the division before we can now finally push such to executive secretary, whether for approval or otherwise, of such collaboration. So these are some of the activities that our divisions are actually handling, but all is being put together so that we can achieve the major mandate of the department, Regarding collaboration, reaching out to each other, yes. There are many fora that actually provide for such meetings. One, it may be a conference. Our staff actually do attend conferences. Now, the conference may be a technical conference where maybe they go and then somebody make a presentation about council, and people who are also in attendance of such may just see that council is doing certain things they are so much interested in. They may be private sector, they may be other government organizations, and they'll be like, wow, we are also handling this, and then we needed this, but we don't have the strength to do this better. But maybe this is more of your area of specialty, so maybe we want to collaborate with you. Then their discussion starts, but they will tell the person that officially, if you want a collaboration, you will have to present it in writing. So your organization can send a request to the council requesting for collaboration. Good and fine, such letters will come. No, it may be council also, other way around. It may be council in a meeting that will actually see a particular thing happening and then may be so much interested. Then council can approach those people and they will say, okay, put in writing also. Then we write to them that, okay, we intend to collaborate with you based on these or that reasons. And then such discussion now pick up in place. Such discussion pick up in place. Then another way is that we have what they call exhibitions. Sometimes it may be during exhibition of our technologies in the program. Okay, like we do have what they call Waffle Day. Now, during Waffle Day, our research institutions come together to display their achievements, what they have done, their research outputs. Now, some other individual private organizations and co may come around and see them, but Arcn have been a route for collaboration with also such institutions. So when they come to council and they say, okay, we have seen one of your researchers that's into this and we are so much interested in that. So all we need to do is, okay, let's start off the process and then we involve the research institutions. These are people who have indicated interest in your area of this collaboration with that. Then sometimes maybe federal government policy on his own, it will come up with, maybe you can see when Baba Buhari came on board, he had traveled to China, he had traveled to other countries, and they sat and wrote an agreement for the country, signed an agreement for the country, and they now said, okay, all other sectors can also align, so they can key in. And so we've been having this bilateral write-up agreement with India, with China, with Brazil and Brapa particularly, that are also into research. So when such collaborations are coming, it may be a whole sectoral collaboration. Agricultural sector of Nigeria and that of the federal government of Nigeria and the federal government of Brazil, for instance, are coming into collaboration, and agricultural sector is part of it. So when the Agric experts are coming, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria has been invited by the ministry to say, okay, come and be this. And then when we get there, they make all their presentation. And we look into it, okay, this is regarding research. This is what we are doing also, and this is the area we want to collaborate with you, either in terms of germplasm exchange, or in terms of, yes, proper research scientist exchange. It could be in terms of training, capacity building. Maybe if they have more capacity than us in social area, we can tell them, okay, please, we want to collaborate with you and we want our researchers being trained on this area. So such collaborations also come on board.
Okay, so that's how we wrap it up on this week's episode of Agric today. I hope you enjoyed and you are more educated on what the planning, research and statistics department is in the Arcn. Like he said, it's not just a department that is Agricultural Research Council based, but of course it's interconnected with all the agricultural institutions we have in Nigeria. That's how we wrap it up. Like I said, I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Thank you for joining us.